Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Web and Git course. In the last episode, we have explored the project folder structure and also made some changes to the About page to add some headers, to add some paragraph tags, and also an image. So in today's episode, we will take a slight detour and have a look on how to upload our updated code to GitHub. So Git is a command line driven program, which means you could do anything about Git through the command line. So let's do it. So first we'll have to cd into our project. So cd code and then numbers are fun for me. Remember to press tab for autocomplete. So now the first Git command for today. Whenever you're confused about what you're doing, the best thing to do is to type git status. This lists out the current status of Git and usually provides tips on what you have to do on the next step. So right now it says it has detected that you have modified the About page and also you added an image, and you are told to use the git add command to update and include in what will be committed. So let's do it. So the next step will be git add. However, instead of including specific files at a time, we will use a dot, which means we add all the files in the current directory. So after that, let's run git status again. And to run repeated commands in the history, we'll just press up arrow twice and press enter. And you can see the image and the About page are in green, which means we have successfully added them. And the next step will be to commit your code. So we will use git commit and then -m, which means we are providing a message after that. And then we'll add our message in double quotes. So you will usually write what you have done inside the message. So this time, let's say testing with Pug.js syntax. And then right now, because you're committing for the first time, it is using a default name and a default email address. However, it is good practice to match your name and email with the ones on GitHub. However, instead of using those two suggested commands, I would use some simpler commands. So to change the name, you run git config and then -- global, which means you're changing it for the whole device instead of just this project. And then user.name, and then your name followed. However, if your name has spaces in between, you have to use double quotes to surround your name. For example, this. And then, similarly, we can change the email. And then we will use the second command suggested. However, I suggest to add no edit at the end to make our life easier, so that the command line text editor won't pop up, which is pretty difficult to use when we are new command line users. So we can just press enter, and now let's ask Git what our next step would be. So you can see our next step is to git push. Push is another word for upload. So this is the actual step where Git connects to the internet and upload, aka push, your changes, aka commits, to GitHub. So let's run git push. And now you're done. And if you log into your GitHub page and refresh, so you can see the new commit, aka changes, are pushed, aka uploaded. So the first push is not that smooth because for the first time you have to set your name and email. However, for subsequent uploads, it will be much more simpler and it follows a pattern. So now let's actually make more changes to the code. For example, I'll add a p tag saying new text and then save the file and then just run npm run build. And you can see there's a new text below the image. And then let's actually push our code. And I suggest you to remember these 3 commands because it is very commonly used. It is like a save button. Every time you have finished something, you have to run these 3 commands to upload your code to GitHub. So the first one will be git add dot, which means you add all your changes to the commit. And then git commit -m, which means you add a message behind and then add the new text. The message could be anything as long as it is comprehensible for you and your teammates and colleagues. And then finally, git push to really upload your commit to GitHub. And now when you refresh the page, you can see 3 commits because we have just committed again. And remember, when you got stuck in the middle, you could always run git status and have a look on what is going on. And right now there's nothing to commit because we have just pushed to GitHub. And one final thing that you will probably need is a better way to visualize what is going on with Git. So I suggest downloading Sublime Merge, link will be in the description. This is a free application, and unless you would like to support it, you do not need to buy the full version. And now after you have downloaded Sublime Merge, you could press Open Repository to open our Numbers Are Fun repository, and then open, and you could see the changes we have made. First the initial commit, and then the testing commit, and then our final commit just now to add a new line of text. And you could see what we have changed, and you could also see the author is correct. And in general, I found Sublime Merge very helpful in visualizing what is happening and to ensure my commands are run correctly. However, it is not suggested that you make commits directly through Sublime Merge because working with command line is a good practice. And one thing to note is that we definitely changed about.html file. However, in Sublime Merge, you cannot see about.html being pushed to GitHub. The reason for that is because the docs folder is ignored by Git because we have specified the docs in the git ignore file. Any changes in the docs folder will be ignored by Git and hence will not be pushed to GitHub. So to reiterate, a typical git push, which is an upload to GitHub, consists of 3 commands. The first one is git add dot, so that you add all changes to be committed, and then git commit -m followed by your message. And then finally, git push. This is where we actually upload our commit to GitHub. And when you got stuck, you can always run git status. And this will be the end of this video. This is a pretty short one, but pretty essential. As a practice, I would push my code to GitHub every time whenever I've made a milestone on my code. It is like a save button. So I would do the same throughout the video series. And I hope you could do the same too to get proficient on Git. In the next episode, we'll go back to coding and we'll see how to style our website to make our website look better. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.